Watch a hornets dance, snap back caps at rallies, ready, spirits never lack. Thoughts and pride, but style in the swag sack. In the quad, we ain't never gonna stop. In the quad, we always on top. In the quad, feel the music drop. In the quad, boots run deep.
Mm, mm, mm. Let me get. Oh shoot, my bad. It's Friday, y'all, November 22nd, and you are tuned into a brand new episode that almost didn't happen of In the Quad with Nick Eden. I am your host, Nick Eden, and y'all know what we got going on here, man. Like let's I don't even know why we're playing. Let's get to it. Y'all, welcome to In the Quad with Nick Eden, the show where we cover all trending topics across the HBCU landscape. That includes Twitter/X, Facebook, Fizz, Snapchat, Fanbase, TikTok. You name it, we're talking about it. IG. And y'all know about the big story that broke today. But before we do that, we're going to talk just a little bit about some of our other topics, because with these topics, we're talking about the entire HBCU landscape, which means it's going to condense into 4 main topics. Look, y'all, I ain't going to hold you. I would absolutely love to say that I'm going to go with my regular format on this stuff. I'm not. I'm going to talk about these topics, and then we're going to get into what we're here for. Y'all not new to the show. Let's talk about our first main topic. My goodness, it is coming to us all the way from News One Now, and that is News One. News One Now was a show. News One, a wake-up call for HBCUs, the impact on the Trump administration's impact on funding and legacy. It's written by I'm not even going to try to Dr. Malone. HBCUs have been the pillars of higher education for Black Americans for over 150 years. These institutions were born out of necessity in a segregated America, providing access to education for Black students who were systematically excluded from predominantly white institutions. A personal journey from Pell Grants to graduate school. Listen, this is what we're going to talk about, y'all. And I named this show today Freestyle Friday for a reason. I was going to go with my regular. I was going to try to do my regular show format. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. First, let me just say this. If you think that Donald Trump is going to be great for funding, you're crazy. I just want to go ahead and resolve that article. If you think that Donald Trump is going for, is going to be for us, you're absolutely crazy. Let's talk about what we're all here to talk about. Let's just get into it. Sorry if this is different from everybody who usually tunes in. I'm sorry, but you got to give the folks what they want, and this is what folks want. Monday, when I did the calendar review, I talked about the article. Well, it's what initially came out on Scotty's show on Off Script about Jackson State looking at UAPB's playbook. And I said Monday, I was like, listen, it's been 3 weeks. The game happened 3 weeks ago. If they do not open something up and talk about this and say, hey, we're doing an actual investigation, I don't want to hear anything else about it. Now, is that on UAPB? Is that on Jackson State? No, neither one of those schools have anything to do with that. My issue stemmed from the fact that for 3 weeks, the Southwestern Athletic Conference has been radio silent on this. Y'all know when it comes to HBCU coverage, what gets the most interaction a lot of times from mainstream media is the negative press about our institutions. This is we know this, right? This is nothing new. So it would have made sense to go ahead and get ahead of this, and you could have resolved this crap weeks ago. If it was nothing, and it's nothing, and move on. But ESPN picked up the story. Of course they would. So let's talk about it. You know what? I'm gonna switch my little platform here real quick, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm over it. I'm over it. And for everybody tweeting and DMing me talking about, oh, you had better be objective and all this, first, stop. Clearly, y'all have not seen my platform. If that's the case, I'm legitimately one of the most objective people in this space when it comes to this. It does me no well to see Jackson State do bad on any of this rap. So let's cut that mess out. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. If you have not seen the article, then let's go ahead and pull it up for you. So this came this morning via ESPN. SWAC investigating if Jackson State had UAPB practice film. This is by Kyle. I don't know Kyle's last name. I'm not going to act like I can pronounce it. Southwestern Athletic Conference has opened an investigation into an allegation that Jackson State players and coaches had access to game week practice film of Arkansas Pine Bluff prior to the team's game on November 2nd, according to SWAC spokesperson Andrew Roberts. Let me tell you why that name is so significant. Because I know a lot of people have been on Twitter saying, oh, Scotty just fed this story to ESPN and they just ran with whatever he said. That ain't true. And I'm not caping for Scotty. Scotty got his own show. Scotty can defend himself. But let's stop the BS. And let's stop BS for two reasons. One, ESPN, the entity ESPN, would not open themselves to litigation for just putting up any old story that they got from off script. That's the first thing. That doesn't make business sense. And the fact that some of y'all are walking around here with business and education degrees and y'all are immediately jumping to that, come on, bro. That makes zero sense. Let's use our brains here. Tell brain that don't make sense. That's the first thing. The second thing, according to SWAC spokesperson Andrew Roberts, if y'all don't know who Andrew Roberts is, if y'all don't know who Andrew Roberts is the assistant media director or associate media director for the SWAC. Maybe y'all don't know the history between Andrew Roberts and Oscrip, but that's quite literally the dude that's been denying his media credentials for years. That's the guy. I'm not going to speculate that it was he and the SWAC that got Scotty's channel taken down like a year and a half ago, but he was definitely part of the SWAC when it happened. Why on earth would the guy who for multiple years has shut out off script from participating in these SWAC stuff corroborate his story? That doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, right? Real quick before I go back to it, I do not believe this publicity is UAPB's fault. We just want the truth. We have not made a statement. I agree about 50% of the way with you on that, D'Lo, because UAPB could have made an official statement weeks ago. They could have made a statement. And when we'll get back to this in the article, matter of fact, I want to leave your comment up. I'm going to come back to it. Ms. Faye, I 100% agree with you. Bottom line, the SWAC needs to make a statement and be a bit more transparent. Absolutely. But let's get back to the article, and let me tell you why that's so important. Okay, so again, Andrew Roberts is the guy who he and Scotty have had at least on Scotty's side, have had a very public feud over the last couple of years. So why would he corroborate a story that off script said if there were not some truth to it? Again, tell brain that don't make sense. Allegation came to light on October 31st, 2 days before Jackson State's 41-3 win. A UAPB player informed the coaching staff he was told by Jackson State player that the Tigers' defensive players were in the Jackson State team facility watching the practice film of UAPB from that week, sources told ESPN. After receiving this information, UAPB coach Alonzo Hampton logged into the software program the team uses to upload, that's Huddle, and reviewed practice footage and saw that it had been accessed by the account of a former walk-on who had been cut in the spring, sources said. The IP address connected to the account when it accessed the practice video was assigned to Clinton, Mississippi, a town that neighbors Jackson, sources said. Full stop. Let me stop right here. If this was a former player, and this is why, D-Lo, I can't go with your comment. If this were a former player, why on God's green earth was his access not revoked when he left? See, there's an IT issue here going on at UAPB that the coaching staff has to take responsibility for. Now, in my mind, and I'm not saying that this is how they went about it, am I saying that, oh, yeah, you know, we got to have UAPB's footage? I don't think that anybody in Jackson State's locker room sat up at the beginning of the week and said, hey, man, let's all watch UAPB's footage over all the people that we could possibly get our hands on over. Let's watch UAPB's footage so we can make sure we win against them. UAPB was not a high-stakes game. It wasn't. You know what the high-stakes game for Jackson State was this year? FAMU, Alabama State, Alcorn, which now is just the Alcorn game is completely inconsequential at this point. They could lose that game by 50 and it ain't gonna matter. They still going to the SWAC championship. So now let's go back. Y'all dropping some good stuff in the chat. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. A Jackson State spokesperson gave a statement to ESPN on Friday saying the school had offered full transparency into our program following the allegations. The spokesperson said no violations were found and that the matter was closed. Full stop. Let's talk about these statements that are now coming out. Because again, where I find a little bit of fault with all three entities is that when the allegation came up, regardless of if you like the source or not, when the allegation came up, this is the problem that we have. The problem that we have is that too often we just try to sweep things under the rug without addressing it. Now, to D-Lo's point, what game it happened does not matter. Michigan stole the signs of inferior teams too. I agree with you to an extent. Because if it mattered so much and the coaching staff at UAPB knew or at least had reason to believe that their Huddle account had been accessed by someone with an IP address matching close to Jackson, Mississippi, then the smart thing is to get ahead of it. Because right now, everybody's releasing statements today. The game was 3 weeks ago. If it were so important then, if you wanted truth then, if you wanted transparency then, why the hell didn't you say anything 3 weeks ago? Why not? Because right now it just seems like everybody's trying to play cleanup. I said when the allegations came out, when Scotty did the first show about it, just address it and move on. The statement that Jackson State made today, whenever this was concluded, they could have made that statement then. But the SWAC should have been there from the beginning and said, hey, this is what's going on. We've heard about this. We're addressing it. And don't tell me that you can't address it in real time. Y'all address the fight in real time. Fight happened Saturday. Monday, y'all had a statement and fines and everything else. Something should have been said. That falls on the SWAC. That falls on the SWAC. Let's go back to the article. All right. Jackson State said that no violations were found and the matter was closed. The SWAC spokesperson, again, Andrew Roberts, however, said the investigation remained open after the conference received new information into the matter. A UAPB spokesperson acknowledged he was aware of an investigation but declined comment. Hampton did not reply to a text message or a call from ESPN. Now, I can understand fully how someone would say, hey, I don't want to get involved, which is what the player said. He was afraid of the blowback. And I can understand if you're a player and you got a call about this. I still have my career. I was cut from the team. I'm still trying to make sure I got my football career in college, so I don't want to have anything to do with this. But everybody else, because we're talking about leadership here, and D-Lo, 100% right. If anything, I blame the SWAC. I do blame the SWAC. But Lawrence is spot on. Poor leadership. Because leadership in all three entities, if I'm Coach Hampton, and clearly people have been asking me about this, even if Coach Hampton doesn't want the transparency, your alumni base does. Your alumni base wants the transparency. So if nothing else, if I'm Coach Hampton, I'm coming out and I'm saying, hey, y'all, we've heard about this. I've addressed it. We have, there is an active investigation going on with the SWAC. We're leaving it in their hands for right now. We are concentrating on Golden Lions football. That game is done and over. We're concentrating on the rest of our season. Bam. That's all you got to say and move on about your business. If I'm Jackson State, hey, if I'm Coach Taylor, if I'm A.D. Robinson, I'm coming out and I'm saying, not just on Friday, I'm coming out and I'm saying, hey, listen, the SWAC is investigating something. We are in complete compliance. We're providing full transparency, everything on our end, what they have on it, then that's the SWAC. We await to hear their decision. We're concentrating on our perfect record in the conference right now and our next game. Even if they wanted to add, based on our track record, we don't need to look at any playbooks right now, but we're still being completely transparent. Let's go on about our business. But at the end of the day, the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, should have come out and said, when they open the investigation, we hear you, we see you, we are investigating. Jackson State has been fully transparent with us. They're cooperating. UAPB is cooperating. If we find anything, then we'll move on and we'll give out the appropriate punishments or whatever the case may be. But somewhere along the lines of this, y'all are not getting ahead of the narrative. You're not getting ahead of what this could be a PR nightmare. Before this even got to ESPN, this could have been solved. Even if it was the investigation is ongoing. We got to stop trying to sweep stuff under the rug because we got a bad habit of doing that, not only in the SWAC, but in our community in general. Jump ahead of it. We're investigating it. If something comes of it, then we will have the appropriate actions following it. But right now, this is a 100% failure of leadership. Y'all, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we get back, we got more to deep dive into this article. We got more to deep dive into what happens next. It's In the Quad with Nick Eden.
Technology lets you monitor your pet when you're not at home. But to monitor threats to your hybrid workforce wherever they are, you need more than technology. You need CDW, who gets to know your business and can design and deploy custom solutions with pre-configured HP notebooks with HP Wolf Security. AI-enabled threat detection and remote management protect your endpoints 24/7, giving your defenses some real teeth.
Bummer.
HP makes always-on remote security possible. CDW makes it powerful.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, "You're gonna love this." He shows me the best-in-class fuel economy and lets me know it's recommended by Consumer Reports. When Dave says, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000, like Rogue, with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
No charger?
It's a Mac. The battery lasts all day. See you next week.
Welcome back to Inner with Nick Eden. Y'all, we are breaking down this ESPN article, this JSU UAPB debacle. This is the best way. Somebody texted me and asked me why I'm wearing a Saints hat. It's because Jameis Winston won against the Steelers last night, and in my mind, he's still a Saint. It's the only thing I got holding on to my season. So y'all stop talking about my Saints. We are already in mourning. We damn near bringing them bags back out. Anyway, so yeah, we're right in the middle of this story. Let's get right back into it. And I want to reiterate this point because this is where the crash out is coming on Twitter. One, I feel like I'll get to that in a second. A Jackson State spokesperson gave a statement to ESPN on Friday saying the school had offered full transparency into our program following the allegations. The spokesperson said no violations were found and the matter was closed. Then the SWAC spokesperson, and here's the key point, because it's a few of y'all JSU alums that's crashing out on Twitter right now. Y'all, please stop tweeting that dude this crazy stuff. The SWAC spokesperson is Andrew Roberts. Again, Roberts and Scotty, ain't no corroboration there. The SWAC spokesperson, however, said the investigation remained open after the conference received new information into the matter. A UAPB spokesperson acknowledged he was aware of an investigation but declined comment. Hampton did not reply to a text message or call from ESPN. Let me go ahead and say this real quick. Again, this is a full-on failure of leadership. How do we still have confidence in the I'm sorry. We'll move on. The former walk-on told ESPN he was contacted by Hampton and the UAPB athletic director Chris Robinson on October 31st. The former player spoke with ESPN on the condition his name would not be published, citing a desire to limit blowback in his direction. Hampton let me know that my film had been accessed and I had logged in, and then he said that he got word that Jackson State had been using the film, the player said. He was persistent in thinking that I had released the film, and I repeated, no, I didn't release anything to Jackson State. Hard stop. You, as the coach, and Robinson as the AD, should have been proactive about rescinding his access to Huddle. I don't blame passwords get compromised all the time. Lord knows I get all the notifications anytime my passwords are compromised. But this wasn't even a situation where the password was compromised. Somebody just had it and logged in. But you, as the coach and the AD, should have rescinded his access the moment you put him off the team. And this is not me talking as a sports fan. This is me putting on my HR hat right now. Because when somebody is off-boarded, that's exactly what they should be, completely off-boarded. I'll continue. Shortly after the player spoke with Hampton, he received a call from Robinson in which he again denied having provided a password to anyone at Jackson State. ESPN reviewed the player's phone log to confirm the calls took place. The player reaffirmed to ESPN that he did not share his credentials with anyone at Jackson State, but said that he had shared that information with teammates at UAPB in the past, and that there was a loose culture around sharing login information with the team, which I've seen before, especially when it comes to these Huddle accounts. I've seen it at the high school level. I've seen it on a collegiate level. I absolutely believe that is what happened. The former player said that he has not been contacted by the SWAC as a part of this investigation. Hard stop. That's a problem. That's a problem. I agree. The SWAC should have been the one to make statements even more than the schools. But what I'm saying is, and leadership at the university level, so that we are in the clear about this, we're going to make a statement, but this is 100% on the SWAC to make this statement. 100%. And the fact that we're just now hearing about from the SWAC on Friday, it's a whole, the regular season is over tomorrow. We have the championship game next week. I'm sorry, not next week, the week after. So I agree. He said he first received access to the software in spring of 2023 and was not aware his credentials were still active until Hampton called him. It is unclear why UAPB had not removed his access after he was no longer on the team. A source familiar with the video sharing software cautioned against using the IP address. This is the important part. A source familiar with the video sharing software cautioned against using the IP address as some kind of proof that the film was accessed near Jackson, as various measures can be used to alter the location of an IP address. The software has a security feature that would have allowed UAPB to limit access for each account to specific devices, but was not used. Now, if I can log into Netflix and use my VPN and access what's going on in London, is Netflix a sponsor? No, Netflix ain't cut no check. If I can use my VPN to see the releases that's going on in London or Paris on Netflix, then yeah, you cannot rely on the IP address as being one, ain't gonna hold up in court, and anybody can challenge it. And if I'm Coach Taylor, if I'm AD Ashley Robinson, when that happens, if that's what they use as the barometer to say that, oh, it was accessed near Jackson, when I tell you I'm coming with the defamation suit, I'm coming with everything, because you cannot use an IP address to say, oh, well, Jackson State was you. You can't use that. You can't. It's impossible. So that's a no-go right there. Jackson State, 9-2 overall, 7-0 in the SWAC, was a heavy favorite against UAPB, 3-8 overall, 2-5 in the SWAC, and held the Golden Lions to their worst offensive performances since being shut out by Arkansas in the season opener. Jackson State clinched the spot in the SWAC title game on Saturday with a 16-10 win over Alabama State, after which a post-game altercation between the teams led to fines of $25,000 for both schools and 16 one-game player suspensions, including 7 on Jackson State. And this is why, matter of fact, let me go ahead and stop sharing. I want y'all to see my face. This is exactly why. When I say things like they're looking at us, they're waiting on us to mess up, this is exactly what I mean. Because the post-game fight between Jackson State and Alabama State had absolutely nothing to do with UAPB and JSU. Yeah, let's go ahead and just put that in there. Let's go ahead and put that in there. But I'm telling you why I'm glad it was in there, because, again, it showed that the SWAC can have a swift response to all of this. So why can you not have a swift response to an allegation that was made almost a month ago? Almost a month ago. This is a 100% failure on leadership. Exactly, Mike. Exactly. All you did was give them a narrative to run with, because that's what they did. They went through all of that, which let's be honest. The core of it, at the core of it, all the article says is that there's an investigation and it's still open. That's at the core of it. But somewhere along the line, it decided, oh, let's throw in the fact that this same school was fighting another school and they got suspensions and fines. Folks, this is what I mean when I say they are looking at us and they scrutinize us in a manner that they do not scrutinize other programs. And when I say other programs, I'm talking about PWIs. Now you watch any follow-up that's going to come in, and ESPN, listen, it is what it is. How much you want to bet it's going to be mentioned? When's the next time they play that game? Let's look here and see. So JSU at Alcorn, Soul Bowl this weekend is going to be played on ESPN Plus. Bet money. They mentioned the fight. Bet money. They mentioned the allegations during the game. Bet money. We're going to take another commercial break, y'all. When we get back, I'm going to do my final thoughts on this, and then we're going to go into our fan topics. It's In the Quad with Nick Eden.
When I push, I feel.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
From now on, it's all about us. Starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're going to make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with hope.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning, I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, you're gonna love this. He shows me the best-in-class fuel economy and lets me know it's recommended by Consumer Reports. When Dave says, these cars are going fast, I knew I had to have that Rogue.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000, like Rogue, with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
Amazon fall favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon fall favorites now.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to In the Quad with Nick Eden. 36 after the hour. You are tuned in. We're talking about this JSU UAPB situation. Y'all, this is Freestyle Friday. Freestyle Friday is going to be a little wilder than it usually is. Let me go ahead and, you know what? I need to go ahead and bring up my good Unc so we can read some of this stuff here. And bang! All right. So what I'm going to do is a little bit different. It's Freestyle Friday. Let's talk about some of these comments that were made just a little earlier that I didn't get to. Again, if we believe something happened, we have the right to investigate. I 100% agree, but go ahead and say that's what's going on. Coach Hampton not responding to anything, not responding to calls, not responding to texts. Just even if you just come out and say, hey, look, on our end, we're done with it. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're concentrating on the rest of our season. Again, Lawrence, 100% right. Poor leadership. This is the most conflicting article. When I tell you this thing it's refreshing like a Twitter thread, and that's what I don't like about it. It's refreshing like a Twitter thread because, again, the statement, because originally several people weren't responding. In the original version of the article, JSU had not responded. When the article came out, then JSU responded and said, oh, we cooperated, it's over. And then they come and say, oh, no, it's not over. That's exactly what I mean, y'all. That's exactly what I mean. Sonic Boom, C98. IP can be spoofed anywhere, and that could have been someone associated with UAPB who accessed it from Canton. Sounds like a setup to me. And that's why I say you cannot rely on IP as any type of proof that because it was that's about as bad. That's about as bad when coach who shall not be named and a couple of members of his family were like, oh, it was all this crime going on JSU's campus, and y'all didn't know about all the murders. Look at all the murders that happened on JSU's campus, and they happened 2-3 blocks away. What goes on in the city of Jackson, what goes on in Canton, what goes on in Flowood, what goes on in Madison has absolutely nothing to do with 1400 Lynch Street. Nothing at all. So, yes, it is absolutely a failure of leadership, and they should have gotten ahead of it. Jamie, 100% right. I think you're right. The lack of leadership in getting ahead of the story, but also understand how mainstream media does not give favorable coverage to our institutions. And you're 100% right on that. So what I'm saying in that regard is, because we know that, listen, we know what mainstream media has done when it comes to how our institutions are painted. So why not get ahead of it? That's all I'm saying. Why even give them? Because now, instead of talking about the Soul Bowl, instead of the attention being on the game day experience at the reservation on Saturday and the fact that Jackson State is going to the SWAC championship game, we're spending Friday talking about this. And you know, now that ESPN's picked it up, it's going to be some other platforms, and I'm just going to go ahead and say his name. Now we know it's going to be a video from Jeff Leisley about it, who hasn't consistently covered anything HBCU since Prime left. That's your business. That's your platform. I don't tell anybody what to do with their platform. But now here we're going to go, and it's just going to keep it going when the attention should be on the fact that JSU's playing in the SWAC championship game. Did they tell Jackson State it was still open? That is a great question. That's an amazing question, because if I'm Ashley Robinson, in my mind, I'm thinking we cooperated, and now our part is done. So once our part is done, that's it. They could have just said, hey, no, it's still open. They still open. Yeah, I get it too. I work in IT. I hate loose word policy. How are you not contacting the individual involved during the investigation? This again, and it's not like he wasn't willing. He was willing to go with anonymity to speak on off-script show, which leads me to believe that he was not contacted by the SWAC. Let's see. I'm not going to. All right. It doesn't matter how careless UAPB was with the login credential. Me finding the keys to your house does not give me the right to walk through your house unknowingly. Listen, I don't, Country Club, I don't disagree with you. That's like Columbus saying, I discovered America. Well, shoot, I discovered your car. Well, let me say, I agree with you in the fact that even if you had the credentials that you shouldn't go in and look at it. I agree with that. What I don't agree with is it doesn't matter how careless UAPB was with the login credential. Because if these are your plays, your job as the coach is to make sure that your plays are secure. So I think it absolutely does matter. That's yeah. Let's see. That's why there's an investigation. There are tools and methods to determine the true origin of login, regardless of IP masking. Listen. This article leaves more questions than answers. I 100% agree. If the SWAC hadn't spoken to the former athlete, how does ESPN know who to contact? That's a good question. It does leave that question open. Listen, when you are right, you are absolutely right. Now, what that leads me to think is that in speaking, and I'm just speculating here, in speaking with Andrew Roberts from the SWAC, that's how they may have gotten that information. Especially in a situation where they said Coach Hampton is not reaching back out to them. The only other thing I can think of is if the former player, because the former player did reach out to Offscript. Who's to say that the former player didn't reach out to ESPN as well? And we know that there was contact between them because they confirmed his phone logs. So the SWAC may not have spoken to him, but ESPN probably very well did speak to him. What else we got? What's going on, family? All right, cool. Let your passwords get compromised at a job, and let's see if HR says the careless people aren't at fault. Yeah, I listen again. Listen, worked in HR for a number of years. That's the truth. When you are given everything, and this is again HR hat, corporate hat. When you are given all the security measures, when it comes to sensitive information, if you are careless about that, you will lose your job. That's just the truth. Yeah. And there's much more happening behind the scenes. Let's just let the cake bake. I get that. So I get that. We have no choice at this point because nobody got ahead of the story. So we have no choice but to see where it goes. We got no choice. You have to take some culpability if someone steals your car just because you left your keys in. Look, let me tell you something. That's not, to me, I ain't gonna hold you. Whenever I go to a gas station and I pull up to the gas station, y'all ever been to a gas station and somebody's got their car on and they're and you're like, you really live, especially like, let's be real. Everybody ain't going to Quick Trip, Buc-ee's. Sometimes you go into the Shell station in the hood. Why would you leave your car on, leave your keys and there ain't nobody in there because you going in there to pick up a pack of Newport 100s in a box? When I get out my car, I make sure my keys with me. I'm locking that car. I don't care if I'm going there for 2 seconds. So I agree. Let's see. Why would Coach Hampton specifically and individually make a statement? Because you're the coach of the team. And if you don't make a statement, then Chris Robinson needs to make a statement. Because if you thought it was important enough to reach out to this player, here's the piece of it. If you thought it was important enough to reach out to this player, and the AD thought it was important enough to reach back out to the player after Coach Hampton talked to them, then yeah, it's important enough for one of the two to make a statement. One of the two needs to make a statement when it comes to this. That's just the truth. Scotty's involvement with the guy seems suspicious to me. No, I do not agree. And let me tell you why. The reason that it doesn't seem suspicious to me is because if you look at track record, let's look at track record, okay? From a player standpoint, when you go back to the situation with Grambling and the volleyball team, when you go back to the situation with the football team for Virginia Union Lynchburg, when you go back and you look at it, there is always been a situation. There's always been a situation where the players have reached out to Scotty because if they feel that their voice is not being heard by the people that they're trying to communicate with, they know that they get a voice on his platform. And I will not disparage him for that. I just won't. I will not disparage him for that. Let's see. I've never left a car running. What am I? I've never left. Listen, I've never left a car running either. I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. Look, I grew up in the hood. I ain't doing that. I agree with the AD department PR, but not the coach. Okay, and I can understand that. D'Lo, I can agree with you on that. I can absolutely agree with you on that. But somewhere along the line between the PR department and the AD, somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball in there. If you don't want to be the name behind it, fine. Somebody dropped the ball there. No, Mike, there is never a day off at HBCU athletics. This entire story is about the young man understandably trying to clear his name. Everything else is secondary to that. And I think that's the part that everybody is missing. This young man was cut from the team in spring of 2023. We don't know where he's playing now. And I would imagine that he probably doesn't want anybody to know that it's him because, let's be real, we chatty as hell in the HBCU landscape. We are. And that could ruin that man's career. It could ruin his college career. Now, how good or how bad it is, because I ain't being funny. You got cut from UAPB's team. I don't know. But what I am saying is I understand him trying to, and that's not a shot. Okay. That was wrong. Shouldn't have taken that shot. My bad. But it's if you were cut from a team, period, I can understand. It's like, look, this is my last chance. This may be my last chance. No, Liv, I'm not mean. I'm not mean. If you're trying to clear your name, that to me, that kind of offsets all of this. Let's see, last one. It wouldn't be a story if the players had kept their mouths closed about accessing the playbook. That's true. That's true. I did not take a shot. Look, I'm sorry, y'all. I did not mean to take a shot. I did not. One, we know UAPB has some talent. Let's stop there. We know they got some talent. But we also see the standings. But yeah, I agree. It wouldn't be a story if the players had kept their mouths shut about accessing the playbook. And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. Look, y'all being messy right now. How would UAPB have known about the player saying something to the guy? I'm pretty sure that he probably still talks to his teammates. I'm pretty sure. At this point, all of this stuff right now is speculation. This is all speculation at this point. Y'all, we're going to take a commercial break. I'll be right back with my final thoughts and game picks for the week. It's in the quad with Nick Eden.
From now on, it's all about us. Starting a family, buying a car, our first home.
They told you to open an account, then turned you away. They said, come back when you're ready. You said, we're ready now.
I know we're going to make it.
Hope makes it happen. Thousands of your neighbors, many who never had a bank account before, improved their lives with Hope Credit Union. You can too. Brighter futures begin with Hope.
When I push. When I push, I feel good. When I pull, I feel good.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Amazon fall favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon fall favorites now.
Hey, sweet new gear. It's like Best Buy hooked you guys up.
Pretty sick, right?
What is that?
That's our traveling trophy. Oh, that's what's up, man.
Ah, a goat for the goats. Fits these pro-level setups.
Last year's trophy.
Not a goat.
Nope.
What if you could get all the latest and greatest gaming gear from one place?
Welcome back to In the Quad. 52 at the 52 past the hour. Y'all, I'm gonna say it again. And I mean this. Let it play out. Yes, but this was absolutely a failure in leadership. No way around it. Yeah, at the end of the day, he should have been quiet. No one knows if anything at all actually happened. I don't know that that's the case. And let me tell you why. Because if the players called and said that, and he's mentioned it, yeah, it does. But he probably was saying, "Look, man, these are my teammates. Like, if anybody on here that's ever been an athlete, man, your teammates are. It's like a fraternity. It's like a sorority. It's like, bro, hey, man, I'm just letting you know, just in case this stuff comes out. You know, these guys called me and said that they had my login and they saw this. I can't blame him for this. I also can't blame him for trying to clear his name. Real quick, y'all. Let's see. We got games of the week. Because I know y'all gonna. If I don't do this, y'all gonna keep asking. Y'all gonna keep asking me about this, and we'll be on here another hour. SWAC games this week, y'all. We're in week 13. So we got Alabama A&M at Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State is looking to capitalize on the forward motion they got after that win over FAMU. So they'll be playing. Y'all can see that game on the grill. Now I know that I'm glad they finally cleared that up. For those who do not know, you can watch it on thegrill.com if you're looking on the desktop. You can also do the Grill channel on if you have a Roku TV, and I believe you can do it on the Grill app. I have not tried. I don't have the Grill app, but just in case, because I know a lot of people before they saw HBCU Go, Allen Media Group owns the Grill, owns HBCU Go. So when you see it being promoted on HBCU Go, a lot of people went to the app thinking that the game was there, and it was actually on the Grill. So, but it's on the and it's on local affiliates of the Grill. So check those local listings. Prairie View at Alabama State, 2:00 on ESPN Plus. I'm looking forward to this game. Hornets got a chance to win out this last season. So we got PV, and then we got Tuskegee. We cannot look past PV. You cannot look past Prairie View at all at any given time. Plus, the last decade, Prairie View has been kicking Bama State's butt. There's just no way around that. So high stakes game is going to be at ASU Stadium. So we'll see if the Hornets will be able to protect the nest. JSU at Alcorn, what we should be talking about when it comes to Jackson State this week. JSU at Alcorn, the Soul Bowl. The Tigers are going to head down to the reservation. 2:00 Central on ESPN Plus. I hate when they put all these games right at 2:00. We got to have a little bit diversity when it comes to the time of these games. My gosh, almost all the SWAC games are at the same time. It's crazy. So Soul Bowl, it's a big rivalry game. Someone asked me in Fam Topics, I didn't post it, but they asked, what are the implications if Jackson State loses this? There are no implications. Jackson State has sewn up the SWAC East. They will still be meeting Southern for the SWAC championship with a chance to head back to the Celebration Bowl. Texas Southern at UAPB. Again, we should be talking about this game and not the implications. Again, if the SWAC would have just come out and said something, we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. But goodness gracious, this is the Tigers are going to be going against the Lions. So let's see how this works out. Not many implications for this. That game will be on HBCU Go. And finally, what I am dubbing the game of the week is going to be Florida A&M versus Bethune-Cookman. The Florida Classic, y'all. Bethune smelling blood in the water. They smelling blood in the water, and I think FAMU has the opportunity this week to redeem that loss to Valley last week and the previous loss. I don't know, but it's hard for me to think that FAMU is going to go 3 SWAC losses in a row this year. I don't know. Bethune-Cookman, they're hungry. They want to make a statement this year. And hey, what other way to make a statement besides knocking off the defending SWAC and HBCU national champions? And that is going to be on ESPN Plus. Y'all, real quick, all I'm saying is do my final thoughts, and we're going to get up out of here. There's a lot of high-stakes games going on this week. Which means there's going to be a lot of attendance this week. Be safe. Please be safe. Don't get involved in any foolishness. If you see some foolishness about to start, hey, I know you're talking about don't snitch. Now, if you see something, say something. We don't need any more bad press, and we for damn sure don't need any more lives lost. So make sure wherever you're going, you're taking your family, you're taking your significant other, you going to find a significant other, you respond to some hey big head text, whatever it is that you do this weekend, please be safe. I will be just a couple of quick housekeeping things. Next week for the most part, I will do some special things throughout the week, just some one-off things, but in the quad is going to be replays next week leading up until Thursday. So Monday through Wednesday is going to be replays. I'm going to do some special things that are going to be specific to the HBCU Plus YouTube channel. So if you are on HBCU Plus YouTube channel right now, go ahead first, click that like button, and then click that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you'll know about those special things that are coming up. That's the first thing. The second thing, if you are watching on the HBCU Plus app, head over, click that like button on YouTube, subscribe there. Anybody, whether you're watching on X, YouTube, download the HBCU Plus app, download the UEN app. Both of those apps are free. There's a lot of content that's coming that way, and there's a lot of stuff already on there. And including we had a phenomenal HBCUAC volleyball tournament. Shout out to Dillard for taking the championship. And next Thursday, I will be broadcasting live from the Turkey Day Classic. So look out for that. Hoping to get some really good footage. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on during that time. And other than that, I will see you all Monday. Take care.